Howdy, y'all. We're not in Kansas anymore. Well, actually, we're not in Colorado anymore because we're in Minnesota at the Albany Pioneer Days.
Look at the size of this D9G. And that hood, how it kind of slopes up. Wow, this thing's massive. It's like a oversized D4. And quite a contrast right here, a D2. The gate where we came in is right by that clamshell bucket across the road, and
I've made it about, I don't know, 50 feet, and I'm stuck here in the dirt.
TD14.
I love the Bucyrus Erie tags. The TD6 that I had was the one tractor I really regret selling, but
These are very cool system. I don't know if this one does, but mine, it started on gasoline and you'd switch it over to diesel when it was warmed up.
and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I think it was better than the pony motor. Although the gas, it would wash the oil in the cylinders, so it had its shortcomings too. I can't quite tell. This might be a direct start on this one. I'm not sure. Hopefully I get to see it running later.
Back to the D9. Look at the size of these grousers. They're what, probably 2 feet wide? I mean, there's my hand.
I would hate to pop the pins on these chains.
Look at that. I do like in the future that they have the sectional sprocket replacements. So they were just a bolt on.
That's a lot easier than popping sprockets.
So look at this monster. An HD40 Allis-Chalmers.
You maybe can't tell it from the video, but this thing is gigantic.
And growing up, we had Allis-Chalmers backhoes, and I distinctly remember that logo. For perspective, there's the D9 next to it. This is another TD14, just a crawler, but it does still have the winch set up on it. Putty Tat D8. There it is next to the TD14, very comparable in size. A diesel 50. Look at that brazing job on this radiator tank. RD6. Very, very cool. I like the two carriers. What I wouldn't give for one of these.
I just noticed something very interesting on this RD6. It's got the Eisman magneto more similar to the one on our D4s, and they've kind of got it adapted on here with a makeshift bracket underneath. Look at this Auto Patrol, 1931. Got the old Caterpillar logo on it. The radiator very reminiscent of our D4. Slightly smaller. I'd want to say that's more of a D2 size radiator. I'm trying to look at the magneto. I could be wrong, but is that an international magneto on here? I'm pretty sure that's the IHC, the international. It is international magneto. Here's a better shot of the HD41 and the D9. Early morning with the camera, the sun's always in the wrong place.
And this is just a small taste of the prairie tractors that are here. We got the sawmill, another international crawler. And here we go. This is closer to my TD9, TD6, I think. Yeah. You've got your magneto, there's your spark plugs to start it on, warm it up. This one's got a very interesting gin pole on it with a crane. Property of the state of Minnesota.
And my wife just asked, how does the driver see what they're doing? And I said, you don't actually. I think you rely on a lot of hand signals.
Sheep's foot roller. We used a lot of those in Antarctica. Some of them they had filled with glycol for weight. Most of these were made to have water in them. Obviously in Antarctica, water will freeze. A lot of prairie tractors and Rumleys and...
Another D9 right here. No blade on it.
Look at the tow hook under this. This is something that we don't have on any of our D4s. I think Dad and I are going to maybe fabricate something. Look at the size of that engine block.
A little bit of Grouser bar wear, just a little bit.
It's hard to get all these in one frame. They're so big. Got the offset seat for the operator. D1300 power unit. Complete with spiders. For belt driven. 153624. Where have we heard that one before?
I'm not going to repeat it.
It looks like the same injectors on our D4. Same thing. Same era, it would be.
We're very early. It's the first day of the show, and I'm always early in, early out. Take from that what you wish. There's a really cool swap meet here that, yeah, I bought something. I'll show you a little later. Looks like they got the D9 running, and they're pushing up a stockpile of dirt. I think the D9 is building a ramp up to the hopper, and the 966 is feeding the D9 the windrow to push up there.
This was a little Cat 10. But this has an interesting system on the dozer blade. It's kind of a worm gear. And you can see it a little bit over here, and then there's a little helper spring back there on the back of it. So, sizable steering wheel to try and crank that around to lift it up.
This one's for the cleaner, because
this is how I pound nails, and he'll tell you that. Cleatrack is the same era as that Caterpillar 10, but something interesting I noted on this, it's got cogs on the front idlers, and my speculation is that it maybe kept the tracks clean. I'm not quite sure.
And this whole shed is just full of ideas that people tried to market and maybe failed, and they're obsolete at some point. This whole shed is full of how tractors developed.
This thing's just got a little friction drive on here, and the Cleatrack next to it, it has the exterior rollers on the track chains. This is a Never Slip Monarch. We're guessing that it's teens, but it's interesting because the engine's in the back, the drive is in the front, it's got the sprockets in the front, and look at those interesting cogs on the sprockets.
Kind of makes you wonder, like, how many of these tractors in here are now part of another company, International, Caterpillar. You know, I'm sure that a lot of these got bought out, and many of them just failed. I noticed on this radiator they have like a heat sink fins up here, which is kind of a novel idea that's obviously disappeared. These 60s are a beautiful machine, kind of the predecessor to our D8s modern day. And I haven't heard one or seen one work personally. I'd love to. But they're really a marvel. Imagine the work they got done.
This one they've got hydraulics rigged up to the scraper.
That'd make it pull, make it sound really neat when they pull. Something that really stuck out to me is they don't have the big leaf spring pack in the middle here. They've got big coil springs here on each side and a looks like a rubber bushing or of some sort to keep it from getting slapped by the track chains. Of course, these are just a gasoline engine. You know, you got your magneto right here. Let's compare it over here to the 10-ton that's sitting in front of it.
Very different system here on the carriers. Looks like they're spring-loaded. You can definitely tell the differences in design here. Again, a gasoline engine. I've been here for about 6 hours and I've maybe moved a few hundred feet from where we started. And I went to the swap meet for a while, but it's really easy to get sidetracked here. I just found a hacksaw that I would approve Dad to use. Now this is really cool. I'm right here in front of the international dealer and a John Deere dealer. I like the Firestone racing tires. Yes, a green John Deere green and yellow Farmall H. And somebody liked it so much they put 3 bullet holes in it. I like how they have this set up like an international dealer. It makes me remember going to the dealer with Grandpa to get parts. They got the belts hanging up here on the ceiling, the register, the parts shelves. Very nostalgic, a lot of memories. Another beautiful 1066 out front here. Let's go inside the John Deere dealership. Just noticed something interesting on this 4020. They got steps you hop up in over here and then over this to get into the operator's compartment. I'm not a John Deere guy, but I haven't seen that before, and that would be a real pain on our 4010. Apparently this is a Wheatland model tractor because there's no rock shaft on the back, the 3-point. We know this tractor. Check out my video on it from last year at Rolag. It's the Holt 75. Sensory overload. That's the end of day one. I do want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Yeah, I'm not at home. We're up here in Minnesota at the Albany